is Letitia, also known as T, and you have just entered Essence of T. Welcome, you guys. Today, I will be sharing my top 3 tips on planning a trip. Right into it with tip number 1. That is figuring out your destination, where you want to just get away for a bit. And then you want to figure out how long you want to be at that destination. And also some situations or some cases, people have multiple destinations. They start in one place and end somewhere else, or they have so many destinations in between one final destination. And in that also, you want to factor in destination in between. You just want to figure out your goal in this trip process, right? And then we want to figure out how are we going to get there. So you can drive, you can take the bus, you can take the train, you can fly. You just have to figure out ultimately how you want to spend your time. Some people only have so many days to vacation or to do a little getaway, so they don't necessarily want to spend so many hours on the commute to the destination. So typically a lot of beautiful people just fly. It's very quick and easy, especially if you're going further out. So it's figuring out what our destination is and how many destinations we're gonna have in between that final destination. Also, how long we're going to be at this destination or traveling to this destination. We want to factor all those things in. And also, how are we going to get to that destination? That is tip number 1. Figuring those 3 things out first. Moving right along to tip number 2. I'm gonna briefly look down here at my notes, and this is the part 3 to this one as well, you guys. We got when are we going? So is it summer? Is it fall? Is it spring? Is it winter? Maybe for the holidays? Is it birthdays? What and when and who are we celebrating, if anything? And when are we going? Is it nice out? Are we going somewhere where it's nice, or are we just trying to escape? We need to just figure out when we are going. Then we want to factor in it's a 2-in-1 combo. So dates and also prices of how you're getting there. So that coincides with that last bit of tip number 1, right? So tip number 2 again, when? When are we going? Is it a specific season that we would like to go? Are we celebrating someone or beautiful people in general? Like, when are we going? Then once we figure out if we're somewhere and it's cold and we want to go somewhere where it's warm, we have to coincide the destination seasons forth with the seasons where you currently are. So let's just say summer, right? We want to go somewhere where it's hot, it's a little chilly where we are, right? And then we want to break out our calendar and see what specific date during that season, the summer season, right? What date coincides with that season, and what date would we like to go for, right? And then alongside with that, we want to figure out pricing for how we're going to get there. Remember in that first tip, I said some people make it a road trip, meaning they stop places in between. What is that going to cost us? Are we going to have the car for a week or 2, or are we going to just have the car for the journey to the destination, change that car in and get a new car, and we then have to factor in that price of that new rental, right? Or if we're driving our own vehicle, we want to price in gas and snacks and food and maybe resting areas and so forth, right? And then bus, like what form of bus are we taking? And what's the pricing? You know, maybe the time of day matters. Maybe weekday versus weekend matters. So we just want to coincide and see with how we're going to travel. Specific prices of things also coinciding with, as that second part to that tip number 2, the date of when we're going. Does that coincide with a nice pricing for travel? Right? Because that plays a part as well. As I mentioned previous, now traveling factors in a lot when holidays are around. Am I trying to take a quick vacation or a quick getaway close to a holiday? Then of course I'm expecting to pay a bit more to travel to that destination I want to go to, right? So all these things factors in when we're figuring out when, the date, and it helps us figure out the pricing of how we're going to get there, right? And we're moving down to that final tip number 3, you guys. Where are you going to be staying? And the pricing of where you're going to be staying, right? Very important, because we have things like Airbnbs, hotel, friends of family, family itself, you know? We have so many factors to figure out where we're going to rest when we need to rest, right? Where do we do that at, right? So again, just as I said in tip number 2, it plays a big part of when we're traveling. When are we going to our destination? Is it close to a holiday? Then just like with traveling to that destination, being in that destination determines the pricing, and all of that coincide with, is it a holiday? Is it a holiday for someone else? Is it a holiday for that particular destination? You know, like the Caribbeans. I know they have different festivals and different things of that such. So does that play a part in the travel portion of things? So of course we want to figure out where we want to rest. Also playing a part, weekday versus weekend. Also plays a part with where we're going to stay, right? So again, recap, right? The 3 tips. Tip number 1, where are we going? How long are we going to be there? And how are we getting there, right? Tip number 2, again, when are we going? Does the season matter? Is it a birthday? Is it a wedding? Is it a holiday? When are we going? Also coincide 2 in 1, date and pricing of how we're getting there. Remember, closer to the holidays, it's a bit more pricier than a distance from any holidays, or no holidays surrounding that date or that time you're thinking about going somewhere, right? And then last but certainly not least, tip number 3 again, where are you staying and what is the pricing of where you're staying, right? So all these things helps us get that jump start to planning a trip, right? And it doesn't have to be anything major. We can definitely have a staycation where we live, you know, but all of that still factors in. So if it's a staycation, maybe you live in the suburbans of where you live, or maybe you live in the city of where you live. So you want to do your staycation opposite of where you already are. So if you're a suburban gal or pal, then you might want to get closer to the city, a little bit more action, a little bit more people and more activities, and that's where the scene is. Or vice versa, maybe you live in the city already but you want more like a relaxation staycation, so you want to go more out towards the suburban or more like family communities, so you can definitely know you'll be able to get your rest and relaxation, right? Not be shy to figuring out what you want to do and how you want to do it. I know it has been so much going on in the world as of lately within the last year and some change, but we definitely want to stay safe, of course, want to keep our hands and everything sanitized and keep our distance and make sure you wear your mask and you just be safe as possible. But definitely don't forget to live and enjoy. You just have to do it a bit more mindful and just take a bit more precaution and enjoy the traveling piece. You know, you and your family, get out here and still enjoy life. Life is too short. God is good all the time. And we just have to trust in him, you guys. But again, I hope these 3 tips help you guys start processing, organizing, writing down, figuring out, questioning, and having conversations about where you're going to travel to. You know, just a part of, as I say, how do we make happiness a habit, you guys? Why not start when? Now, 2021, you guys. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Definitely don't forget to check me out on the social medias. I'm on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok. Feel free to leave me a comment and definitely love what you love, like what you like. Guys, thank you so much, and you guys have a blessed day.